we'll get started. So good morning or good afternoon if you're watching later, good evening if you're watching later as well. So welcome to Yoga Hour. My name is Cadre. And so attachment to outcome. And the opposite end of the spectrum is non-attachment. Within the Yoga Sutras, specifically 1.12, so there's a book, I've talked about it several times, but Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. And the sutra is a thread, and it has quite a bit of information about yoga. It's pretty much a yogi's handbook in a sense. But within that, 1.12 again, it talks about Varyaga. Hard word to say, which is non-attachment. So non-attachment to the result. The balance to that is abhyasa. And abhyasa is persistent effort or action without interruption. So some compare the two to wings on a bird, and they must be balanced in order to fly. You have to have equal of each of those, the persistent effort and then the non-attachment to the outcome. And the brilliance of the sutra lies in the simplicity of the premise, the university of its application. So basically, if you can be resolute in your efforts and in equal measure not be fixated on the outcome of those efforts, your consciousness will become less hectic, and your vrittis, or the habitual thought patterns that we have, or the waves of the mind, will start to still or settle. Of course, that's easier said than done, as is much of yoga. So I think that's why it's important to have the balance of it and the non-attachment, of course, to your efforts there. Like so many things in yoga, the solution is to find a path that is less binary, where opposites can coexist and balance each other. And this contradictory theme of effort and letting go, the abhyasa and the varyaga, is a thread that is woven throughout yoga philosophy. It is in the continued dance between the two that yoga is experienced. And I was thinking about a mandala. So I used to go down to the university, and they would have a monk come in once a year for a while, and he would create this amazing mandala. If you've ever seen one, they're brilliant colors, and the intricacy of the design is it's quite amazing. And he would spend 8 to 10 hours a day making this large piece out of all the different colors of sand. And he would barely take breaks for lunch and water. And he had the persistent efforts in creating this beautiful piece. And when he was completed, he would wash it all away, put it in little vials. So that's a pretty good example of the balance between the persistent effort and then the non-attachment. So we'll practice. So a couple things, if you have a block, find it here. You can grab a block. You can also use a chair or a wall too. It's always handy. And find your comfortable seat. So there's 3 different variations of seating posture or asana. One is your easy seat, which is like, I think in kindergarten and such, they say crisscross applesauce. So it's just your comfortable, easy pose. And this is called Sukhasana. And then Padmasana, which is your lotus pose, is where the back of your foot is more up into your thigh, where your thigh and your hip meet there. And that was a little bit more difficult. And typically your sit bones are raised up slightly, so your hip bones are above your knees. And this is Padmasana. And then there's also Virasana, which is hero's pose. You don't need a block. If you have one, it raises your seat up a little bit, makes it a little easier to tuck your heels into the sides. So that's your Virasana. So whatever is comfortable for you, find your comfortable seat and rise up through your chest, through the crown of your head, and close your eyes. Rest your hands wherever is comfortable. And start to turn your attention, your focus inward. And notice your breath. So inhale, rising up through your chest. And exhale, keeping the rise in your chest. Rooting down through your sit bones to the mat, to the earth. Inhale, rise up, and exhale, and then soften in your skin. And allow yourself to fully arrive in this space, in your space, as you are today, without judgment and without attachment to the outcome. We'll sit for just another minute. And keep attention, keep focus inward on your breath. And then feel free to leave your hands wherever is comfortable, or you can bring your palms together at heart center. We'll start class with one Om. Feel free to listen or join in. Take a full inhale and a full exhale. And then inhale once again. Bring your chin to your chest. Acknowledge yourself for showing up today, for creating this time, this space for yourself. Release your hands. Bring your chin out of your chest and open your eyes. We'll start in child's pose or Balasana. So knees outer hip width apart. Big toes come to touch behind you. Bring your torso towards your mat and forehead down to your mat. So forehead, tip of nose, arms out in front. Spread your fingers evenly and lift your armpits up away from your mat. So hips down and back, hands, arms, chest down and forward. Take a few deep breaths here. And as you exhale, sink closer to your mat. And keep reaching through your fingertips, crawling towards the top of your mat. If you choose to want to listen to a playlist, I have all my playlists on Spotify, and I'll have to put that in the link as well. So it's under my name, Cadrecy, and today I chose the CY spiral, so if you want to listen along. And then come up to hands and knees, but leave your hands where they are. So your hands are going to be in front of your shoulders towards the front of your mat. Bring your knees under your hips and curl your toes under. And then sit back towards your heels. You may not reach your heels all the way. You can walk your hands slightly back, but just down and back, and keep reaching forward with your hands and your arms. Lift your armpits up away from the mat. And then from here, so this is your down dog, arms and back. So you're sinking your chest towards your mat, the top of, or your forehead and the top tip of your nose towards your mat as well. So you'll create a small curve in your lower back. May not be totally visible, but it's there. And from here, you're going to grip the floor with all 10 fingertips. Spread your fingers evenly, index fingers pointed straight ahead or parallel to one another. Really grip the mat. You're going to lift your hips up as much as you can. So dig your toes in, fingers in, and lift your hips up just so you're hovering your knees. So pressing down and forward, up and back with your hips, and then lower down. And then once again, really dig in with your toes. Engage your belly muscles and squeeze your legs towards each other, and then lift your hips up. So this is your down dog. It's going to be long and pressing through your hands, and then come on down. And this time we're going to go all the way up into down dog. So press again into your hands down and forward. Feet are going to press down and back. Squeeze your legs in towards each other, and then shoot your hips up. So sit bones towards the ceiling. Keep a bend in your knees and come on your tippy toes of your feet. Hands down and forward. Again, lift your armpits up. Gaze straight down to your mat. And then one at a time, work your legs towards straight. So heels down towards your mat. Keyword towards. May not reach the mat today. And that's why yoga is a lifelong practice. There's always more. Maybe pedal your feet, your heels down. Keep pressing through your hands. Belly button towards your spine. Sit bones towards the ceiling. And then gaze between your hands and step towards your hands. So you're coming to the front of your mat into a forward fold. So feet either hip width apart or together, all 10 fingertips out in front. I cup my hands and squeeze your feet towards each other, legs towards each other, and forward fold. You can always bend your knees. And then lift and lengthen. You can place your hands to your shins, bend your knees, and step your left leg back into a lunge. So lunge position, your back heel's vertical, back leg straight and strong. Your front knee is over your ankle, not beyond. Chest forward. Gaze out in front of your toes. Squeeze your legs towards each other. And don't forget your breath. And then step forward with your left foot. Stay low. And step back with your right foot. So lunge position again. Make sure your knee is in line with your ankle, not beyond. Come up to your fingertips of your hands, back leg straight and strong, back heel vertical. Engage your glutes, Engage your belly muscles and think chest forward. And then step forward with your right. Stay low. Step back with your left. Pivot your back heel down. So your heel should be the widest part of your back foot. And walk your hands on the inside of your front foot and out in front. So down dog lunge. Again, I keep up on my fingertips. Of course, a lot of my yoga practice is palms down. So I try to take the weight off of my wrists and my palms by coming to my fingertips. So reaching out and forward, hands about shoulder width apart. Squeeze your right hip, left inner thigh towards each other. Keep the tone in your belly muscles. Reaching out and forward with your hands. Walk your hands, again, surrounding your front foot. Turn your back heel vertical. Step forward with your left. Step back with your right. So lengthen the lunge, your stance, and then pivot your back heel down. Walk your hands on the inside of your front foot and then out towards the side. So down dog lunge. Again, squeeze your feet down and apart and opposing as well towards each other. So you're engaging the outer and inner muscles of your legs. Tone your glutes. Tone your abdomen. Think chest forward. And don't forget your breath. And then walk your hands surrounding your front foot. Turn your back heel towards the ceiling. Step forward with your right. And slowly come on up. All right. Out. Okay. Reach up to the skies, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, forward fold, all 10 fingertips down to your mat. You need to bend your knee as you can. You're going to step back with your left foot. And this time you're going to lower your back knee down to your mat. If you need padding, you can always curl up the side of your mat. And walk your hands on the inside of your front foot. So you could use a block here if you have one, or you can stay upright on your fingertips. So squeezing your front heel and back knee towards each other. So you're going to get engagement in your belly, your legs, your glutes, and then maybe come down to your forearms or a block. Place a block, maybe come down. So this is a lot. We're working a lot with our hip flexors and opening in the hips, and your hamstrings are probably saying hello. What are you doing? You're down to your mat on your forearms. A lot of the time your right knee comes out to the side, and that's okay. You just try to keep squeezing it in towards your shoulder. Keep your gaze forward. And then come up to your hands. Walk your right hand on the outside of your right foot. Lift your back knee up. Step forward with your left and back with your right. And then wiggle your back foot further back and lower your knee down to your mat. Walk your left hand on the inside of your left foot. And then again, lift, lengthen through your chest first. And then lower down onto your block, to your forearms, or to your mat. Keep squeezing your left knee in towards the center. Engage your glutes. Belly button towards your spine. Pressing your forearms down into the mat. And softening your face. And then come on up. Hands surrounding your front foot. Lift your back knee up. Step forward with your right. And then inhale, lift and lengthen. So Ardha Uttanasana or half forward fold. And then exhale, forward fold. And always bend your knees. You want to get all 10 fingertips down to your mat. And then inhale, lift and lengthen, flat back, gaze forward, and slowly come on up to standing. Okay, Tadasana. Then come to the middle of your mat. And take a wide stance. The wide stance, typically if your arms are parallel to the floor, your ankles are just in line with your wrists. And make sure the heel is the widest part of your feet. So you don't want your toes turned out, you want them angled in slightly. Or pinky toe edge of your foot lined up with the short edge of your mat. So press your feet down and apart, tone your thighs, and then press your feet down and squeeze them in towards each other. So you're doing opposing actions again, but you're engaging all the areas of your leg muscles. So through this whole series that we're going to do right here, keep pressing your feet towards each other. So you're really going to fire up the inner aspects of your leg. And then bend at your waist and bring your hands down to the floor. Again, you can also use a block here. Make the floor a little closer to you. It doesn't make the pose any easier, it just makes it more accessible. So shooting your sit bones towards the ceiling, pressing your hands down and back. Feet down and squeezing in towards the center. Belly muscles engaged. Inhale, lift and lengthen. And then as you exhale, maybe walk your hands between your feet, keeping your hands shoulder width apart. Bend your elbows and bring your torso down, head down towards the floor. So we're not going for the full variation, which is head down and head between your hands. Won't do that one today. And then inhale, walk your hands forward, under your shoulders, flat back, lift and lengthen. And then heel toe your feet about 6 or 8 inches in, closer to one another. Again, engage your thigh muscles. Squeeze your feet towards each other, so you should feel the inner edges of your legs engaged. Sit bones towards the ceiling. Inhale, lift and lengthen. And exhale, fold. Walking your hands back between your feet, bending your elbows, and rounding your back evenly. Stay with me and keep your breath. Keep focusing on your breath. Your belly button towards your spine. And then inhale, walk your hands forward, straight arms. And then heel toe your feet. One more time, about 6 or 8 inches in. So your feet should be about hip width apart. And then inhale, lift and lengthen, feet down and towards each other. So you're squeezing your feet towards each other. Thighs are engaged, toned and tightened. Sit bones towards the ceiling.
And then exhale, forward fold, walking your hands towards your toes. Bend your elbows. You can bend your knees if need be. Hands down and forward, feet down, back, and squeezing in. Engage your belly muscles. And then one more time, lift and lengthen, walking your hands under your shoulders. Bring your feet all the way into center. So you can keep them hip width apart or bring your feet all the way together. Just leave a tiny space between your heels. And one last time, forward fold. So walking your hands outside your feet and folding down towards your forehead, towards your shins. So here still, you're bringing your feet towards each other. Your thighs are toned and tightened, your glutes engaged, and your belly button towards your spine. Doing great. And then bend your knees and slowly come on up. All right. Should be feeling your legs quite a bit. Okay. So tree pose. Balancing on your right foot. Lift your left knee up and out to the side. Place your heel at the root of your inner thigh. You also work with your foot down. Just avoid your knee joint. So knee out to the side, press your foot and your thigh together, palms together at heart center. So you want to try to keep your hips level. Lift your chest. And take a breath. And then bring your left knee towards the front. Flex your foot. So this is using a lot of your belly muscles, not bringing your leg out to the side, but out in front. So your thigh is parallel to floor. And then lower down. Tadasana. Balancing on your left foot. Bring your right knee up, out to the side. Place your right heel at the root of your inner thigh. So trying to close this area here of your right leg. So knee out to the side. Again, make sure your hips are more centered or level with one another. Tone your belly, hands together at heart center. Press your foot and thigh together. Lift your chest, stretch your spine. And then bring your right knee forward and flex that foot. So again, this is using your belly, your abdominal muscles to lift and keep your leg lifted. Your standing leg straight and strong, and then lower that foot down. All right. So balancing on your right leg, lift your left knee up. So try not to let your leg go out to the side. Maybe interlace your hands under your left thigh. So standing leg, keep that leg toned. Engage your belly muscles. You can stay working right here, or interlace your hands in front of your shin and bring your knee up as high as you can. So you're not cranking on your hip, so your hip isn't lifting up. You're still trying to keep hips level. Bringing your knee up, bringing your torso down towards your knee. So you're trying to close the gap between your lower ribs and your left thigh. And again, you can stay working right here, or maybe interlace your hands under your left foot. Pressing down through your right. Maybe work your left foot, left leg straight. Bowing stage. Again, make sure your hips are level. Maybe bend your elbows, maybe bring your forehead towards your left shin. And then slowly come on out. All right. second side. So balancing on your left foot. Bring your right thigh parallel to the floor. Interlace your hands under your right thigh. Stay here. This is where a wall can come in very handy. But if you fall out, you just get right back into it. And then stay right here, working here, or interlace your hands in front of your right shin. Keep pressing down through your standing leg, reaching your chest forward, and then maybe bringing your right knee up as high as your shoulder. And maybe reaching down, interlacing your hands behind your right foot. Maybe bringing that right foot forward. So straightening the right leg. Again, make sure your hips are more level. Maybe bending your elbows, bringing your forehead towards your shin. And then come on out. All right. Take a breath in Tadasana. So rooting down through your feet, tucking your tailbone under, tone thighs, tighten kneecaps. The distance between your hip bones and your lower ribs, minimize that, and then lift your chest, lift your chin out of your chest. Take a full inhalation and exhale out and soften your skin. Okay, balancing on your right leg. Gonna lift that left leg back up, interlace your hands behind or in front of your left shin. From here, you can keep your standing leg straight or slightly bent. You're going to shift your left knee to the side. So we're coming into a figure four. And your left ankle is on top of your right knee. From here, you're going to shoot your hips back slightly, bringing your hands to your shin. Think chest forward. Keep your gaze forward. Maybe sitting down and back more. Maybe bringing your forearms to your shin. Keep squeezing in towards the center. So tone your abdomen, tone your glutes, and keep your left foot flexed. And then come on up and lower your left leg down. Balancing on your left foot. Bring your right knee up. Interlace your hands in front of your right shin. And then from here, you can bend your standing leg. Go from the side. Right knee out to the side, right ankle on top of left knee. So shooting your hips back behind you slightly, chest forward. Maybe bring your hands to your shins. Maybe sitting down more, bringing your forearms to your shins. Keep squeezing your legs towards each other. Tone your glutes. Chest forward. And don't hold your breath. And then come on up. All right, come to the front of your mat. And inhale, reach up. Balasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Gaze forward. And then step back into plank pose. So make sure your hands are shoulder width apart or slightly wider. Your wrists are under your shoulders. Heels are vertical, legs straight and strong. Option to lower your knees down. Tailbone down and under.
belly button towards your spine. From here, you're going to gaze forward and shift forward onto your tippy toes so your shoulders come over your wrists, and bend your elbows, keeping your elbows towards your torso. Come down into chaturanga, lower your knees if needed, and then lower all the way down. Tops the feet to the floor. Two options, up dog or cobra. Do Bhujangasana, which is cobra pose. You just lift your torso upright, shoulders back and down. Press tops of your feet into the mat. You do upward facing dog, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Press down into the mat with your palms, tops of your feet, and everything up except for your hands and feet. Bringing your chest through your arms, gaze forward, and then come into Adho Mukha Svanasana, or downward facing dog. Hands down and forward, feet down and back. Sit bones towards the ceiling, armpits up away from the mat. Take a full inhalation and a full exhale. Gaze between your hands, step forward, come into your forward fold, and then come on up. And one more time, inhale, reach up, and exhale, forward fold. Lift and lengthen, and then step your left foot back slightly. So not all the way back, but maybe 3/4 back. Bend your right knee. So option to keep this knee bent or slowly working that knee to straight, or that leg to straight. All 10 fingertips down to your mat. If you have two blocks, this come in quite handy. So you can bring the floor closer to you here. You can also work with your hands on your shin, although it takes away the balance, the additional balance with your palms. From here, lift and lengthen. Squeeze your feet towards one another. Engage your glutes. And then if you're going to use a block, place your block to the right front of your mat. And bend your right knee. Come up on your tippy toes of your back foot. We're going to go and do half moon. So work your left toes in, right palm out towards the front on your block or your floor. And then lift your back leg towards parallel. From here, the back leg's parallel, torso parallel. You can open your hip and open to the left. Maybe bring your top arm up. And pressing down into your hand, into your right foot, and reaching out your top arm and back foot. So this is the big opening in the hip. It's different from having your legs straight back behind you. So your hips are more stacked to the side. And then come on out, bring both feet together. You can bring your block to the left side and come up to Tadasana. All right, inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. And then step your right foot back about 3/4 of the way. You can keep your left knee bent, all 10 fingertips down to your mat or your blocks. And then as you gaze forward, flatten your back and straighten your front leg. You may have to adjust your stance. Squeeze your legs towards each other. So feet down apart and towards each other, and your left inner thigh to your right glute. Belly button towards your spine. And then maybe folding forward
Bringing your forehead towards your shin. This is where you know your limit and don't go past it. Work just above your limit. You never want to push too hard. There's definite injuries in practice. And then bend your left knee. Place your hand to the front. Come on your tippy toes of your right foot. Walk your right foot forward. And then maybe lift your back leg parallel to the floor. Again, opening in the hip, so you're opening to the right, maybe lifting your top arm towards the ceiling. So you're trying to stack your hips and open across your chest. Press down through your standing foot and your palms. Tadasana or half moon. And then come on down. Right foot to meet your left foot. And stand up into Tadasana. Okay. Have a seat. Okay. So legs out in the front. This is called staff pose or Dandasana. Feet are flexed. Press down through the inner edges of your foot. Palms just outside your hips. Lift your chest. Lift your chin out of your chest. And take a breath. From here, you're going to bend your right knee in. And then drop your right knee out to the side. So right heel towards the inner edge of your left thigh. So this is like tree pose, but sitting down. Make sure your left kneecap is pointed up towards the ceiling. Right hand comes on the inside of your left leg and left hand on the outside. Lift and lengthen. And then bend forward, bringing your torso towards that left leg, maybe grabbing the foot and the knee if need be. And draping your chest down towards that leg, maybe bringing your forehead towards your shin. So this one work is more of a gentle stretch. We've done a lot of stretching in the legs, the inner thigh, outer thigh. So go to maybe the edge of your capacity and then back off, maybe like 30 degrees or so. And then bring your torso upright, bring your right knee in towards the center and come back into staff pose or Dandasana. And take a breath. Bend your left knee and then left knee out to the side. So left heel to the root of the right inner thigh, right kneecap pointed up, flex your foot. Walk both hands on the inside, outside of that right leg, and maybe bring your forehead towards your toes, maybe grabbing your toes. Keep pressing your left foot into your right leg and reaching chest towards toes. Maybe bend that knee. And then round your back evenly, bringing your forehead towards your shin. It's called Janu Shirsasana. And then bring your torso upright. Straighten both legs. Roll onto your right hip and come onto hands and knees. Bring your knees in together, so towards the center. Walk your left hand forward and out slightly to the left corner of your left mat.
So we're gonna go into V stage or variation. You're gonna straighten your right leg back behind you. And then as you open, so this is like a half moon opening in the hip. As you open, you're gonna drop your right heel down. You may need to adjust or choose to adjust your left leg. And then press into the mat with your left hand, right foot, and open across your chest, bringing your right palm towards the ceiling. Back leg straight and strong. Tone your glutes, tone your abdomen, stretch across your chest. Maybe putting more weight into your left hand and right foot. Maybe lift your right or left knee up. Then lower down, return to hands and knees. Bring your knees into center, right hand towards the front of your mat, left leg back behind you, and then as you pivot your back heel down, you may adjust your right leg for balance. Open across to the left and across your chest, reaching up through your left hand. So if your back foot is down to your mat, again, make sure your heel is the widest part of your back foot. Back leg straight and strong, reach up, gaze up or down, and maybe put more weight into your right hand and left foot. Maybe lift your right leg up to a hover. Keep engagement in your belly muscles. This is a lot of abdominal work. Stay with me. And then lower down onto hands and knees. And have a seat on your heels. So Virasana pose. Interlace your hands all the way to the webbing. Flip your palms towards me. And then up and back. So just a gentle stretch. Keep your chin out of your chest. Arms up and back. Squeeze your legs together. Tone your abdomen. Chest up. Stretch your spine. And then release your hands down. Okay, one more. Come into downward facing dog. This is a different variation of V stage. So check your fingers, make sure your fingers are spread evenly, index fingers pointed straight ahead. And then from here, you're gonna step your right foot in just slightly, probably about 2 or 3 footprints in. And you're going to walk your left hand out towards the left side of your mat. And then you're gonna shift to the side of your left foot. Your right knee comes forward and open up into V stage. This is a different variation of V stage. More support with your right foot down. Press into the mat with your left hand and left foot. Reach your hips up and open across your chest. You can stay working here or stack your ankles if that's in your practice. This is a lot on your wrists, so grab or put more weight into your fingertips. Sliding off my mat. And then come on down into downward facing dog. And take a breath. And then step your left foot about 2 footprints to the front of your mat. Then you're going to shift your weight, shifting both feet, heels towards the back, and then open up, and now I'm not facing you. And come into a variation of V stage. So press your hand down and forward. Bring more weight to the inner edge of your hand. Maybe stack your ankles. Lift your hips up. Open across your chest. Very good. And come on down and come into hands and knees. And then have a seat. Very good job. And lie down on your back. Bend your knees. Bring your feet as wide as your sticky mat. Bring your knees into rest. Place one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart. In constructive rest. Starting to slow down your breath.
Slow down the movement in your body. Take a full inhalation and exhale out. And then bring your knees hip width apart, as well as your feet. We're going to go into bridge pose. So two options. You can grab the outer edge of your mat and pull your mat apart, or lifting your hips, interlacing your hands under your hips, and walk one at a time. Walk your shoulders in towards your spine. Press your feet down towards your shoulders. Wrists down, shoulders down, chin out of chest. And if you're holding the edges of your mat, press or pull your mat apart. A full breath in, and as you exhale, lower all the way down. Bring your knees in towards your chest. Recline child's pose. Supta Balasana. Maybe rock side to side. Maybe grab your arms around your knees. And then bring your feet down to your mat. And one at a time, lower your legs down to your mat. This is Supta Tadasana, so this is still an active pose. So straight legs, flex your feet, tuck your tailbone under, lift your chest, gaze up towards the ceiling. And then rebend your right knee and rebend your left knee and bring your left knee in towards your chest. Interlace your hands behind your left thigh and work your leg towards straight. So you're not trying to bring your leg towards your face or your chest. You're pressing your leg away, so straightening your arms. Slide your hands, leaving your hands where they are. So this is movement without movement. Sliding your hands down towards your glute muscles, pressing your leg away from you. You can also choose to straighten your right leg along your mat. It's resetting your thigh bone. Take a full breath in and exhale out. And rebend your right knee, rebend your left. Bring your right knee in towards your chest and interlace your hands behind your right thigh. Again, press your leg away from you, straightening your leg. So you're working your leg away, arms straight, and then bringing your hands down towards your glutes. So leaving your hands where they are, movement without movement, but sliding the skin of the back of your leg down towards your hips. Again, you can choose to straighten your left leg. Full inhalation and exhale out. And then rebend the right knee, rebend the left knee. One more time. Recline child's pose. And then come into our final pose, Shavasana. Legs long on the mat. Let your ankles drop out to the sides. Arms by your side, palms up. Close your eyes or soften your gaze. Relax all the muscles in your body. Relax the space between your eyebrows, your jaw, your chest, hands to the mat. Relax your hips and legs. Take this time of stillness to rest and restore your body in Shavasana. Start to deepen your breath. Bring some awareness and some small movements to your toes and fingers. And when you're ready, bend one knee at a time. And slowly roll to your right. And then using the strength of your arms, return to a seated position. And keeping your eyes closed or a soft gaze at the floor in front of you. Bring your palms to heart center and lift brightness of your heart into your thumb. Sing Om one time. Take a full inhale and exhale out. And inhale once again. Bring your chin to your chest. And in respect to each one of you and this practice, namaste. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here. Thank you for practicing. Have a wonderful rest of